are very weak. They're not going to fight with any of these animals. They're not going to fight with any animals. But what they can do is they can fly away. And so as trapped as they may appear to be, they always have the mobility of flight, and that they can soar above their enemies. Okay? Now, Hashem told Avraham Avinu, you're going to have 3 generations in Egypt. That's why he brought 3 of each of these. And in Egypt, they're going to break apart the negative aspect of these traits. I told you the bull was simple, just power. Now, power and strength can be used for 2 different things. You can use it for your Avodat Hashem, or Chazal Shalom, person can go out, he can wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go make $1 million, and he can go and he can strucking along. And again, you'll find that a lot of times when a person has to wake up for parnasa or for schooling or for testing or whatever it is, he can wake up very early, he can stay up very late. When it comes time for Torah and again for other things, all of a sudden he's tired. Oh no, I didn't sleep well last night. But if you had to study for a test, you would have stayed up all night. If you had to stay for work, you would have stayed up all night. So we see that power, strength has two different sides to it. The ayil, money, also has 2 different sides. You have the tzedakah, you have the idea that you understand from where the money came from. You have the idea that money will not run you. You will run the money. You will not let the money dictate what you will do. Oh, I need $100,000 more dollars. I have to go out and do. You will understand where and when is the stopping points. But of course, money also has the other side. And the ez, the goat, also has 2 sides. Resilience is the person not doing what Hashem said. Hashem is saying, do it, and it's for your benefit. No, I will not do it. But there's also resilience called Oz Panim, that when the Am Yisrael is looking at death in the face, or in the face of their captors, they're resilient against them, and they will complete the word of Hashem. And that's why in the camps, there was indeed a Pesach in the camps. So I'll tell you a story that I started, actually I used last year for our Leil Seder, and I'm going to use it again because it's such a powerful story. It's about the Klugenberg, I think, Klusenberger, Rebbe, yeah. So the story goes as follows: that I forget if it was in Auschwitz or which camp exactly it was, but he was definitely in a camp, and there was definitely not going to be any Pesachs. There was Jewish officers called the kapos, and sometimes they were mean, and sometimes they were nice. The particular one in his camp was very mean, and he would always come to the Rebbe and he would say, "No, Rebbe, where's your God? You're preaching godliness, and you're preaching. Where is he?" So the Rebbe, actually, just so you know what his koach was, he kept all the mitzvot as much as he could to the tip of the iceberg mitzvahs. And he didn't just do them, but he did them to the nth degree, even in those conditions. So, for example, when they would ration off water, he would use most of the water for washing his hands before tefillah. Okay. When it came time to eat, he refused to eat the non-kosher food. So as Hasidim saw him, they said, "Rebbe, again, you can use a lot of things, and you're going to see that you don't need to have kosher. You don't need a lot of things." And he told the Hasidim, "You are not permitted to not eat it. But I will show you," he says, "that Min HaShamayim, they want me to keep kosher." Okay. So one day goes by, 2 days go by. So the Nazis had a lineup, and they called out, one of the officers said, "I'm looking for Halberstam." So that was actually the Rav's last name, Halberstam. And the Hasidim didn't want to give him up, because they figured they were calling him out for execution. It's not something simple. So finally, the officer's getting angry, so he raises his hand and says, "Halberstam, I'm Halberstam. He says, you come with me." So of course, his Hasidim are fearing the worst. He brings him into the room, takes out a bag, and throws the bag at him. He says, "Take this and get out of here." So what is the bag? He sees bunch of bread in the bag. So what is this? He says, there was one time a Halberston Jewish doctor who saved my wife, and I got to get off my conscience. So take the bread and get out of here, and now I'm clean. Now I can go back to killing. So, of course, the Hasidim saw that the Rebbe was supposed to eat kosher. He had enough bread to eat kosher from this incident. So anyway, so the capo kept poking fun at the Rebbe and saying, "Where's your Pesach? Where's your Pesach?" And so he finally responded. He said, "If Hashem wants there to be Pesach in the camps, there will be Pesach in the camps." Okay, Rebbe, okay. So they had gotten one of the engineers in the camp to hotwire an oven. This was actually throughout many of the camps they were able to figure out how to get ovens. Okay. Now what are you going to do? Where are you going to get flour from? Where are you going to get flour from? 1 day, 2 days. It's the day before Pesach. Where are you going to get flour from? The Allies were flying over and had bombed a freight train to one of the camps, and which was close by to where they were, and the supplies that they were carrying happened to be wheat. So they called some of the Jewish people in the bunkers, and they get out, go clean up the mess. The Hasidim saw this; they understood that it was not something simple. So again, Mesirut Nefesh. Look at what they tied. Again, this was at the risk of death. If they would have seen this, they would have been shot right away. They tied the bottoms of their pants and made like a little loop, and each one filled up some grain. Each one filled up some grain. As they were digging and cleaning it up, they filled up some grain. They came back to the Rebbe and they said, "Rebbe, there's going to be Pesach in the camps." They bring the Rebbe the grain. The Rebbe sits, grinds his own stones, gets everything. Now, when you get water, you only have a little bit of water. So each one rationed off enough of his water to have water to make the matzahs. They're making the matzot, great, everything is good. They had the matzot, everything's going to be. The Rebbe says, wait, I never did a Pesach without 10 men. We're going to do a Pesach, we're going to do it the right way. 10 men are going to be in the Seder. Rebbe, I mean, you're pushing your luck now. I mean, look, it was enough that we got an oven, we got some matzot. Come on now, let's just do it quietly. No, we need a room. Where are you going to find a room in a guarded Nazi camp? Impossible. So for this, the Rebbe went to that couple. He said, "Mr. Couple, do you remember I told you if Hashem wants there to be Pesach in the camp? There be Pesach in the camp?" He said, "Yes." So he pulls out the matzot. And this couple turned white. Couldn't believe that there was such a thing. How? Where? From where? He says, "But I need one last thing from you. I need your room." The couples had offices. So he said, "I need your office for the night." So the couple said a very powerful message. He said, "I'll give you the office only if you include me with one of the 10 men." And that night they did Pesach under the nose of the Nazis. If you want to see Oz, strength, resilience, that's the resilience. That's the resilience that they lacked in Egypt. When the Torah was telling us there was going to be a Choshech, it wasn't saying only the negative part of the Choshech. It was telling us that Mitzrayim cleaned out the other part of the Oz, the bad part of the resilience. Mitzrayim was there to clean out, to purify us. The Jews in that era, they lived Mitzrayim. They lived it. We now tell the stories. And this goes back to how we started the Pesach Seder. Haggadah, you're going to speak it, say it. But don't just say it. You got to mean it, you got to feel it. That's why I say, think about that a little bit. We, Be'ez Hashem, will have the packets that we made with some Divrei Torah. Hopefully, Be'ez Hashem, next week. The writing is finalized, so we're just going to go over it.
Next week is going to be Challah, next week, yeah?
Oh, Be'ez Hashem. But
so you're bringing packages here?
Packets, yeah, Be'ez Hashem, another. So material, yeah, to read.
Wow.
One of the things in there, the last part goes on the idea of that we're going to be saying L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. That's the end of the Seder. We sing it, everyone's already half tired. The guys say, oh, can't move. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. B'Yerushalayim habnuya.
Yeah.
I have a question. When we're at that point of the Seder, we're exhausted, and we're singing L'shana haba, do we mean it?
Nope. They're half gone.
Say it again?
Do we mean it?
Yes,
Next
we
year
do.
in
Oh,
Yerushalayim.
so good. So
We mean it.
So no, I'm being serious.
I mean it.
I'm being serious. Do we feel it's an urgency? Okay, listen. If it comes by next year, it'll come by next year. If not, look, we'll be back here again, and we'll see you all later. We have another Seder next tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's like when Mashiach comes.
L'shana haba, you should know, L'shana haba doesn't mean next year. It's a misnomer.
About this one.
Haba'a, the mapikeh means this year. This now should be in time of Mashiach. Now. I don't know if anyone heard the song from Rav Shlomo Karbach, but it's called "The Last Seder in the Warsaw Ghetto." So I recommend hearing it. I put the words, or most of the words, in the pamphlet, so that if someone wants to get a little bit of a sense of urgency, you'll read those words, and you'll feel urgency. You'll feel urgency.
Where we need the pamphlets next week?
That's Bezat Hashem, next week. I'll just want to tell you what's one of the gist of it is, the song. Is he says that there is a little boy in the Warsaw Ghetto. If you know the story of the Warsaw Ghetto, there was the ghetto in Warsaw at the end of its time was being liquidated, and the Jews were being sent off to camps for death camps. And so the word got out to the Jews in Warsaw that what was going on, that they weren't just being shipped off to nowhere, they were being shipped off to death camps, and there started being an uprising. And the uprising, of course, didn't last. It stunted the Germans, but it didn't really do effect. And the song is written about the last Seder that occurred in that ghetto as the Nazis were burning out the rest of the bunkers. And the song goes that there was a boy named Moshe, and he's the last Moshe in the camp, in the ghetto, and he's sitting, he's asking his father the Manishtana. He's sitting and asking his father the Manishtana, and his father wants to answer, what comes after Manishtana? Avadim Ayinu. Why is this night different from all the nights? Avadim Ayinu. But the boy says, I have another question. Why is this night so much more bitter than all the other nights? This galut is so much more longer than all the other nights. What's going on? And he says, the song continues, that at that moment, heaven and earth freeze. And the angels don't have what to say anymore. They themselves are scared. And the boy continues. He says, Father, do we know if there will be another Pesach? Do we know if we will be at another Pesach? Do we know if there will be any Jews at another Pesach? And the father answers resiliently. Unbelievable answer. He says, I don't know if I will be here, and I don't know if you will be here. But I do know that there will be a Moshe somewhere asking the Manishtana. And he quotes the final pasuk, Lo yechebe nero le'olam va'ed. The candle will never extinguish. Hashem has promised the Jews that the candle will never extinguish. I say these words tonight again. I wasn't sure if to go down this route or not, because it's not Pesach. And Pesach is supposed to be about the joy but it brings everything into perspective. And when you ask, how can we make sure that we don't talk just regular things on Pesach night? Think about what we're saying here tonight. Think about the last Seder in that ghetto. The last Seder that people had. What was it about? Did they dilly-dally? No. They knew what meant freedom.